You are listening to the Central Indiana Sports Report, episode 157.5.4, our Alexandria Tigers weekend preview, co-hosted by Michelle Garmon of the Elwood Call Leader Tipton Tribune, with guest Marty Carroll, the head coach of the Alexandria Tigers.
You're listening to the Central Indiana Sports Report with your host, Greg Mengelt.
Welcome, basketball fans, to our Alexandria Tigers weekend preview. Alexandria enters Friday's game at home against Oak Hill, their only game of the weekend, at 4-10, having won their last two games both over Elwood, 62-37 and 62-35. It's a young, athletic Alexandria team that looks like it's getting better every weekend. And Michelle Garmon of the Tipton Tribune and Elwood Call Leader and I spoke with Alexandria head coach Marty Carroll about the Oak Hill game and his team. Well, Coach, saw a little bit of the last couple of games, and it looks like you're starting to see some development, especially on the offensive end, where you really struggled early in the year.
Yeah, we feel like we're improving, and we're maybe getting a little scoring from more people. The other night we had 3 in double figures, one with 8, one with 7, a couple with 6. So we're hopefully headed in the right direction.
Friday night's a big one for you with Oak Hill because right now you guys sit 2-1 in the conference. Oak Hill is unbeaten along with Blackford. So, I mean, Friday's game is pivotal for you guys if you want to continue to have, if you want to remain in the CIC race.
Yeah, we talked about that tonight, and listen, Oak Hill's really good. I know that, but I also know that Eastbrook beat them in a game at Oak Hill, and we watched a little bit of film tonight, and I told the kids, I said Eastbrook ends up winning this game, and I said, do you know anybody that's beaten Eastbrook? And it might have taken them a while to figure it out, but they figured out that they had beaten Eastbrook. So, if we play well, I think it gives us a chance to be in the game. And then I went the other night to Southwood, and they looked really good at Southwood. But we're improving, and, I'm hoping we can make a game of it.
With Oak Hill comes the duo of Tonigal and Sugar.
Yep.
So how do you go about keeping them in check per se?
I think, obviously they're averaging 40 points a game between them.
That's right.
They, if they both get their average, it's going to be a very tall task. We're hoping to make it hard on those two. The problem with that, though, becomes you try to make it hard on those two, and then they've got 3 other kids too. I'm not silly. So it's try to make it hard on those two, and keep everybody else around what they've been doing, and I think it gives you a chance.
What do you like about your team right now, and as you head into the final, maybe 5 weeks of the season, 5-6 weeks?
Looking back from the beginning of it, and I should have known that this happens. I mean, I've coached long enough. I think some of our 3-sport kids, I think it took longer maybe to get into basketball stride a little bit. I didn't feel like any of those football kids shot the ball very well for actually longer than I had hoped. I love basketball, and it's a great game. But at the end of the day, if that ball doesn't go in the basket, that, you got to be able to do that. And I do feel like we've shot it better recently. We've maybe shared it better recently. And everybody's, trying to, it's not like it's, for us anyway, it's not like it's, the senior classes played together forever, and then you mix a couple juniors in. That's not really our case. We've got seniors playing, we've got juniors playing, we've got sophomores playing, and we've got a freshman playing. And when I say that, they're all playing, a lot of minutes. Probably some of them not as many minutes as they want to, but we're playing a lot of kids over 4 classes. So that, has taken some time too. But I do think we're maybe coming together a little bit and playing better.
Of course, you have just one game this week and then one game next week, but boy, your February's packed.
Yeah, and early in the year was packed too, and it's I think that led to some of our problems early too. Is I think this happens every year. There's when it's all said and done, there's going to be games on our schedule, and I think most of them, not most of them, but a few games early in the season, I'm going to wish we had back. I know it doesn't work that way, and you play them when you're supposed to play them.
Unfortunately.
Yeah, and maybe with a little bit more prep time, some of those games, maybe we can play with some of those teams a little better than we did. But it was packed, and then, we had the county, and then that follows right into a conference game with Elwood, and I thought we played pretty well in both of those games. And then I wish we would have had a full week of prep, for Friday, but with the weather, we
Right.
had to miss a couple days, which everybody else I'm sure did too. But I do feel like we've been able to prepare for them. It may not show, but I know what's going to happen in the game. So, and then we'll do that again next week, and then then it starts, Tuesday, Friday stuff, or Friday, Saturday stuff, which again,
And
then no prep time. But
down the stretch, though, it looks like it's a really nice schedule for you. You got some games where you should be very competitive, some games you should probably win, and some games against some really good teams. So, nice mix of schedule here down the final stretch.
it is, and it's we are looking at it just like you described it. We think there are some that we should win, and I think there's some that we could win, and there again, there's some on there that are going to be a tall task again. But at the end of the day, you're just trying to take whatever team you have. I mean, this is my philosophy anyway, but take whatever team you have and see what you can do with them through the course of the season. And it's a long season too. There's a lot of things can go well, and there's a lot of things that can go wrong, and everybody faces all those. But I don't love our record, but I do feel like I don't think we're playing worse. I'll say that. I think we're playing better.
Thank you to Coach Carroll for joining the Central Indiana Sports Report, and Michelle Garmon for helping me out. She is the best. And thank you for listening. Please go like, subscribe, or follow so you don't miss a single segment. And please tell a friend. The Central Indiana Sports Report is a product of ITG Media, and I love Susie.